Chester, what are you doing?
I'm just trying to help. Don't you know that if you pour anything in there that isn't high-grade plutonium, that you could cause a massive...
Greetings, Miss Courtney. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Stan? I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I'm going to get my on-air sign. There we go.
Ta-da.
We're back to battery power, by the way. The whole plug-in electrical thing failed for reasons I couldn't even begin to tell you.
Well, some of those batteries are better than the plug-in things anyway.
Not this thing. This thing's good. I put 3 AA's in this thing, and it's good for maybe 2 shows.
Do the rechargeables.
Then I have to...
We'll get 5 shows.
I've got them, but actually I can't find them. I don't know where they are.
Oh, well.
But
they're at the Dollar General.
No.
They've opened down there. I've heard the new store, Dollar Tree.
Yeah. My hopefully soon to be daughter-in-law is working at the new family Dollar Tree. She's working there.
It's no longer the Family Dollar Tree. It's the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, she's just got a job at the Dollar Tree.
Nice.
She's a wonderful person, by the way.
I probably met her. I did go through there the other day and get some things.
Well, she just started her training 2 days ago.
Not that recent, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
She had morning training, then she had evening training, and I guess she doesn't work full-time until sometime next week. But
nice.
Yeah, very cool.
It is.
Yeah, very cool. They are just doing so well as a couple. I'm so proud of them. My son and his hopefully soon-to-be wife. We'll have to keep our fingers crossed for that. But, young people today, what are you going to do, right?
Just love them. Try to guide them in a good direction because,
I love them to death. They are wonderful. And their little daughter is just the light of the world. She smiles and giggles at everything. She's one of these babies who, as soon as you appear, she reaches out to you, wants to be held by you.
Nice.
And maybe not for long, but
right. But for this moment, you are my person.
That's
very cool.
Exactly right.
My little grandbaby's coming this weekend. We're going to do a thing down on the river as long as the weather don't get changed on us.
Rock and Raz?
Rock and Raz will be here. Y'all coming. You got to bring Blakely.
She's great. I've seen her on the videos you've made with her. She's awesome.
She comes by her need for attention. She comes by that, honestly.
Well, she also has good comedic timing, which is a rare thing.
I have never tried to get her to do anything specific. She just looks at it and goes, okay, I can do that. And on she goes.
That's very special.
It is.
Yeah. So, I am a boomer and I love my grandchildren. So there's that.
And I'm a Gen X and I love my grandchildren.
Yes. Well,
grandchild. I don't think I have any more on the way.
Mine came kind of late in life for me, but my oldest granddaughters had turned 4 in June, and I'll be 68 next month. So I didn't get those grandchildren. Well, I didn't have my first child till I was 35, so there's a difference there.
You use some wisdom, and now you get to use retirement to spoil your grandchildren instead of being still at work while your grandkids are having ball games that you're missing.
Well, my permanent wife of 45 years, she's not going anywhere.
No.
But we decided to. We were on the road for a long time and enjoyed ourselves very much going around everywhere, Hollywood, Alaska, we went everywhere.
Right.
And we just had the best of times traveling around with the band and all that. And it was great fun. She was young. She was very young, but she got used to it after a while and learned how to take the bull by the horns and enjoy that life out there.
Yeah.
Especially whenever we visit a group that had a manager that was married, and she would have a compadre to hang out with. That was always good stuff. That was fun.
Very good.
Yeah. So what's going on? Maybe you should give us a little report. Didn't you go to another county commission meeting yesterday?
Well, it wasn't a county commission meeting.
What was it?
It was a meeting specifically with our county manager. And there was an article in the Smoky Mountain Times about her wanting to work with the public and, we'll figure things out together, but you got to come talk to me. So I did that yesterday, and I got to work more on being able to maintain my
decorum.
Yes, because listen, I am not that polished little politician either. I am more like you will tell the truth.
Yeah, I get you.
And that's not effective. So I mean, it is.
Well, you always can try to inject some humor into it.
I do that. I mean, yeah.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
Oh my goodness. Listen, Linda. But I have to give her credit. Absolutely. It is very hard to get an MBA, and it does take dedication and time, and she's put that into it to get that. I did ask about the timeline of when she had that versus the requirements for being county manager. And even though she didn't graduate technically until December, I guess, that's when she got the position, however that worked specifically. She was finished with all of her classes and her transcript complete by the end of November before the required deadline. So let me give her credit there.
Any specific issues that were discussed that where you got some new light shed on those things?
Well, the raises that everybody got all up in arms about haven't actually passed yet. They haven't went into effect because there was a complaint and the public wasn't happy. So they've tabled that for backroom discussion or however that works on their part. I'm still learning those things. But I've scheduled another meeting with her for this coming Wednesday morning again. So we'll just keep working together, and I'll keep behaving more appropriately, and they'll be more forthcoming with the truth, I hope.
Okay. Now
I am angry about that table. Let me tell you.
About what?
The table.
What table are you referring to?
The office or the room that the county commissioners have their meetings in was a federal courtroom. And that's why it's set up the way it is. All those benches and stuff, those have been there. And those tables that the commissioners sat at, the big, heavy, noble tables that go with the authority of the room, they're gone. Gone to storage because they were heavy and we needed to be able to roll tables around. But I'm not sure why those tables need moved. I'm not real clear on that still. But no. Because
they would move them to use the room for different purposes. They would need to set up differently for different purposes.
Yeah, I get that. But let's not just take that table away because it belongs in that room. That's where it lives. That's where it
says you.
Well, also says the law, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because without specific authorization from the Board of County Commissioners, she can't just make those changes unauthorized.
Okay, and that apparently didn't happen.
Yeah,
that doesn't. You know this for sure?
Yeah, I was there at the meeting yesterday. I filled out one of those FOIA requests too to get the real details and make sure I'm not wrong.
How's that been going with the FOIA requests?
I send them. I panic and pray. They partially answered part of them yesterday, but that was a partial answering. So 2:00 this morning, I was.
Yeah. Right.
And I tried to schedule most of them to send at an appropriate time because, 2:00 in the morning, you don't want your email going off. I hope that worked out.
Right.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm just curious about so many things.
All right.
I'm going to meet with a group that have been working on a Swain County Youth Committee. And they've been working really hard on some proposals, and they've got a lot of good stuff put together that's been presented. And they are not getting anywhere with the commissioners. That's really offensive since the chairman ran on the promise of a youth center, of paying into the youth of our county, and the psychological data and whatever all that they pull from shows a clear, if you put into your children, they're less likely to become the homeless, delinquent, derelicts that we are currently facing an epidemic of across the country. And we're a small enough community, we can have an impact on the future. It's time.
Okay.
It's time to do that.
Okay. What is the epidemic that is sweeping across the country?
Just this weekend, I talked to 3 different individuals. They're all in their early 20s. They have no job, no future, nothing here. They're wandering the streets, stoned on something that's not pot. And this is across the country. Children they don't have insurance. They're kicked out of their parents' homes. Their parents die. But there's not really a future. There's definitely not industry or jobs here unless they're geared toward tourism.
Well, that's been an age-old problem in America, especially with small towns. And it's been habitual that businesses or if factories operated and those things closed up and moved first they moved to Japan, then they moved to China. Some of them moved to Korea. And what's working now is that through Trump's tariff program. A lot of those businesses are starting to come back to the United States, but that doesn't help us right now.
No, that doesn't help us right now. We're going to have to work on getting something put into effect. I know a lot of other areas are doing it, have done it successfully. And I didn't find this on my own. This research was brought to me by a concerned member of the community. And it's like an 80-20 split. So you have an investor that comes in and they want to build 10 Airbnbs. Well, that's fine. You can build 8 and you're going to build 2 affordable housing units. Or you're going to dump $100,000 into the community. $80,000 of that can go toward your building of your business, your profit, et cetera. 20% of that needs to go toward building the community. So it becomes guidelines for investors to help protect small areas from what we're seeing now, which is an overbuilding, and we don't have places. Who's going to wash your dishes?
It's, completely understandable. It used to be back in the day that if you did not have opportunity where you were, you put yourself in a place where there was opportunity. You moved. You went to Asheville. You went to Atlanta. You went to Charlotte. You made a life for yourself. You became independent from your parents, and you made a life for yourself. But we're not seeing so much of that these days. No,
and I think that goes back to the chemical warfare we're under with our food, with the things they're spraying in the air, with the immunizations.
I don't know about that. That you think that's a symptom? I can't copy that. I mean, look, you either have ambition to make something of yourself or you don't.
Not true. They use chemicals to kill that. Like, we know that fluoride and aluminum kill your pituitary gland, which is like your third eye, where those things come from. You have resistance and rebellion. Those all come from that little third eye. And when it's been killed over generations, and then look at the psychotropic drug use that has been passed down from what, the past 3-4 generations of folks?
I guess. I never did drugs myself.
Right, I understand.
And I was in the music business where everybody was doing drugs. But I just chose not to do them. I didn't want to do it. Right.
But everybody don't have that. I got hooked on cocaine. I used to shoot cocaine. It was so much fun. It was horrible. It was hell.
Yeah, that's got to be a horror story.
But when I quit. That was it. And there's never been a time where I've been like, oh, you know what? I think I want to do that again. No, because that was hell. But now that gives me enough empathy and compassion for the folks that are there to understand where they are.
Okay, well, call me a boomer.
Boomer.
Yeah, I am a boomer. And I guess my brain wasn't rotted by what I was taking drug-wise or eating or smoking or breathing.
I can't imagine that drugs today are like the drugs were even in the 80s. I know in the early to mid 90s, when I was way too young, I was doing good old school drugs.
Yeah.
And what I see now is nothing like that. And I'm not, like I said, I don't mess with it, but I have helped successfully get a couple of people on the path to sobriety. Thank God they're not here anymore. Good job, guys. Because there are things you got to just go through the withdrawals. You have to go through the convulsions and the puking and the night sweats and the thinking you might not wake up tomorrow. Because you know what? Every time you did those drugs, you might not wake up tomorrow. Except for now we have the Narcan pandemic, which that's...
My kids both went through it.
Yeah.
They got, both my kids got addicted to Spice, K2, when they were selling it in the 7-Elevens.
Right.
From China.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously made and sent here and packaged for teenagers to take and do.
And nothing like pot. That stuff was like dryer lint with chemicals sprayed on it.
It took my children years to get off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I was running the charitable foundation and trying to help out, every once in a while I'd try to help a homeless person that was addicted to drugs. Found a couple one time that was living under a bridge close to Tampa Bay, and woman and a man, not married, I'm not even sure how they found each other. And he had terrible neuropathy, could only walk with a walker. And she had all kinds of health issues. And I decided one day with fund money from the emergency relief fund to take her to Walmart. And we spent $300 that day on stuff they needed. I couldn't get them out from under the bridge. Nothing I could do about that. Mm-mm. But I said, so what was it? What was it? And she said, spice, K2.
Yeah.
Can absolutely ruin your life. And again, it took my kids years to kick it, to get off of it.
Fortunately, never messed with those kind of things.
Yeah, well, no, what I'm saying is I didn't have to deal with that when I was a kid. And
right.
even the marijuana now is way stronger than it was when I was a kid.
They have got the greatest
I smoked a little pot in
distribution.
high school, but that's the only thing I ever did.
Right. Well, it's not the same. They grow it these days with so much science behind it. Mm-hmm. The tribe's doing a great job with that.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So kids today, basically, we're talking kids today and kids in Bryson City, Swain County, not a lot of opportunity here.
There is not.
So you get yourself hooked on some kind of drug and your life is basically shot to hell.
Even if they don't get themselves hooked on some kind of drug, there are a lot of them that are in the position now where their parents have no way to help them. They have no options. It's not like they can just go get a job and it's going to help them better themselves in life. They are already on the path to vagrancy, jail. You know, they're walking that path already. And we have to find a way to divert that, to bring them back into a sense of community and give them something that makes them feel worthwhile and needy. Like, why don't we have community gardens where everybody works together? You know, we could have things like that help provide for people, but more than just providing their little basic needs, we need to be providing a sense of community and unity so that they don't feel lost and hopeless.
Absolutely. I applaud that 100%. Somebody's got to start donating land or whatever. You know, you want to have a community garden, it's got to be done on somebody's property.
Right.
And don't do it on county property or city property.
Geez.
No. Nope. So it's got to be on someone's private property where they donate the land to that cause. You agree?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to give the land away. Just, hey, I've got these couple of acres here and this is what we're going to do with it.
You go for it. And, well, you know, year to year, we'll reevaluate or whatever what's going on there. Yeah. That's an excellent idea.
If we could get something like that established, then we get the court system on board with those kind of consequences. Why are we sending these kids to become in a worse shape than they are when they need structure and love and community?
A lot of it goes back to bad parenting.
It does.
A lot of it does.
There's also been a systematic breakdown of the family unit intentionally. We have the schools teaching.
No question about it.
We have them teaching new math. And your kid's sitting here telling you this is not how you add 10 plus 4. And I've been adding 10 plus 4 like that since you were not even thought of. And some of your teachers weren't even born when I learned how to add 10 plus 4. But it teaches them, it puts the idea that the parent's wrong. The system is the one that has the answer. The parent's wrong.
Well, we've seen some total abominations coming out of public school, having to do with gender issues, all kinds of stuff that are not things that I, as a parent, would support to be taught in a school. Let's start reading, writing, and arithmetic, and a good dose of American history to go along with that.
Yeah, but can we start doing like actual real history maybe and not
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Absolutely. Yeah.
That would be great.
That whole thing needs to be revised, but
it should.
But it needs to be tackled from a completely, utterly, politically unbiased position. And I guess now that's asking a lot, as divided as people are. But it's just not fair to teach young people from a political perspective. It's as unfair as it gets. You are hamstringing those young people to do that sort of thing. And so much of that has been happening. And we've been finding out more and more about it. Of course, it's more prevalent in blue states than it is in red states. But it's still out there and still happening. Just the fact that we have to fight these people to keep pornographic stuff out of their little child libraries, which is crazy. That is not an 80-20 issue. That's about a 99-1 issue.
Yeah, no. I'm talking 80-20 applies to financial investments, not those kind of investments, because we are allowing that to happen. And there's plenty of folks inside the system of the school that don't agree with it, but that's their livelihood and that's how they support their children.
Yeah.
And So they have to do what they can within that structure. And it is designed to break those kids' spirit. If we were actually wanting our children to grow up to be good humans and whatnot, we would be teaching them life. Like sitting out, I know we're privileged here to have the outdoors and whatnot, but our schools should be more invested in teaching our kids in this area how they integrate with nature that they live in. You know, there's not enough of that.
Taking it up a notch, you're going to find a good deal of conservative parents, along with children themselves who have developed intelligently enough that they're going to completely avoid going to college, because colleges, especially a lot of private colleges, but even state universities have become unbelievably indoctrinating people into a extremely left-wing, liberal, activist way of life. And that's not what that institution is for. Never has been. That's a place you go to get degrees, to get better careers.
Well, yeah, but then we find out that our government's dumping money into these and under the guise of medical research, and that medical research is being used to manipulate the population.
Yeah.
So the trades, go into the trades, guys. Find you somebody that's a good plumber, a good electrician that needs an apprentice. Work for free. If you have to work for free for 6 months, the knowledge and the skill set that you gain make that an invaluable 6 months in your life.
Absolutely. There's also technical school. I mean, you could learn how to do things that are in high demand these days.
Yeah.
And you could end up making $100,000 a year just from that.
How many times?
It might take you 10 years to get there, but that's what it's all about.
But it won't, because how many times do we log into Facebook and you've got 3 people this week begging for a plumber, or, hey, I need an electrician. And that's just, I know that's a really small part of the population.
You're absolutely right. Well, I ran that Facebook group for St. Petersburg, and one of the most common questions was, who's a good plumber, or who's a good electrician, or number one, I need a handyman. A handyman, and I need them to be able to come over once a month, that sort of thing. Yeah. And I gave a lot of those people a lot of business.
Those trades are important. That people don't want to do things for themselves. That's understandable. Sewage is nasty. It is. It's dirty. So
yeah, by
that's
definition.
why you pay for it. Exactly. That's why we pay for that. You want a plumber.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been a scintillating conversation. We got from, county stuff to, child development. And
that's how intelligence works.
Pretty good. Pretty darn good.
It is.
Well, I just want to give you a couple of quick updates on this studio here that you hadn't heard yet. And we had 2 major bugs in the system since this place was completed back in March. And both of them were completely vanquished this week.
Nice.
And it goes along with the roof. There's nothing wrong with the roof. It wasn't leaking or anything. The problem was it was a metal roof, which is not a problem from a homeowner standpoint. But if you want this room to be cold inside and not 120 degrees, you need to have a fairly efficient air conditioning system, which we have. Mm-hmm. But the roof, I have my little gun thermometer that I was pointing up at the roof. And even though we foamed it with acoustic foam, during the day, that would get to be 120 degrees.
Holy smokes.
And the air conditioner was keeping all the cold air down here where we are. And the hot air was being trapped up there. But after a while during the day, it would sink down like this. It was terrible.
Did you paint it blue?
No, we painted it. I'm not going to go into that.
I know.
But no, we did use roof paint and painted it 2 coats of this bright white, and it completely solved the problem. You point that thermometer up there now on a sunny day, and the hottest it gets up there is 85 degrees. More typically, it's more like 75 degrees at the peak of the hot sun. That is a huge, you can feel how chilly it is in here today.
It feels really nice, and it is hot, muggy, and humid outside.
Now, one thing we have not had, at least recently, is a lot of sunshine. We have been cloudy, rainy for days now.
I put my little clip up. I literally stood in my yard. I watched the airplanes go over, spray the stuff. 3 hours later, to the minute, I was actually a little late on my 3:17 because or 7, whatever the timestamp was. It was actually exactly 3 hours later.
Yep.
And it was bright, sunny,
Well, I'm with
intermittent
you on
clouds.
that. I've been watching the skies every day. It's been a little difficult because of all the clouds.
But you can hear the jets that go over that do the.
I haven't heard a lot of that, but I have seen the trails, I have recorded them, and I have talked about it. And at this point, I think we've got a majority of Americans on board with it. And the few that go, they just don't know what they're talking about and haven't paid the dues to figure it out.
Is it that, or is it if you challenge something that someone's been taught their entire life, then like their entire reality to some degree crumbles because, oh shit,
That's
they lied
just
about that.
stupid.
They lied about that. They're going to lie about that and that and that and that.
It's just stupid.
But some people can't wrap their brain around that. And ignorance is bliss. Brother, I wish I didn't know half the stuff I know.
Well, if 50 flying saucers came out of the sky one day and started landing in Bryson City, you think they would deny it?
Unless there was actual people getting out, walking around, facing. Yes. Well, that was just Project Bluebeam. They didn't really land. That was a.
Oh, it was all a hologram.
Yeah.
No. Well, even that's a big tinfoil hat issue in itself.
It is.
But
There's so many.
All I'm saying is when the evidence is right in front of your eyes
I know.
and there's serious documentation on it.
A lot of the people that are starting to wake up about it, when you talk to them about it, they're like, well, I just never looked up. Well, I don't understand that myself because I've always had my head in the clouds, I guess. But, that's part of it.
Well, when I was younger, just seeing the crisscross chemtrails in the sky was commonplace, and we didn't worry about it too much because we didn't know what it was.
See, we didn't have those here. We were always very impressed when we saw one of the jets that actually had a contrail.
Well, this is because they do them mainly over major metropolitan areas. Now, I have seen them here.
Yeah, they've cranked up in the last, I guess it's been 17 years since I've been harping on it, that people were saying I was crazy.
Well, you're not crazy because the documentaries are out there. The documentation is out there. The people just talking at podiums who are people in charge who are talking about it. Freaking Bill Gates says, oh, yeah, we got to keep doing this. Is nobody listening?
Well, ChatGPT still denies it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely crazy.
We had a discussion about that. Listen, get on board, chat. We're friends here now.
It's nuts.
It is.
But anyway, yeah, it's happening. It's absolutely happening. And you can go to geoengineeringwatch.org.
Yeah.
And these are not tinfoil hat wearing people. These are smart scientists, people with degrees, people who will lay it out to you and tell you what is happening. Watch the 2-hour documentary on geoengineeringwatch.com. .org. Sorry. It's actually free on YouTube. You just go to, you find it on YouTube. And I can't remember the name of it at this point. But
The Dimming.
The Dimming. Thank you very much for that.
I did watch parts of it. And you don't even have to watch it. You can just listen to it while you're washing dishes or driving down the road or beating around in your tool shed.
What's that? Sorry.
Oh, I still hand wash dishes. I'm not on board with that dishwasher business.
Oh, we don't use dishwasher either. I just don't do any of the dishwashing. It's not my wheelhouse.
I understand that.
That's not entirely true because when I eat something or make something and eat something myself, I do my own dishes.
Yeah.
I absolutely do that. Anyway, maybe we should move on to something else. My weight loss report is frustrating. I have not lost an ounce since we did this a week ago. So I'm still at 11 pounds. So I have completely stalled on that. So that is my cue to ramp it up. I'm going to absolutely ramp it up. The wife is no longer allowed to make me totally carbohydrate dinner and set it down in front of me. She said, do you want this?
How do you say no to that?
You can't.
You can't.
No, you
Carbs
can't.
Are good.
Right. So I've been eating just once a day and trying to make it protein. And the rest of my nutritional needs come through my supplements. And if I do that now, I'm sure that I will kick right into ketosis and the weight will just start dropping off like it did the first time I did this about 10 years ago.
Golly, do you know what else happens when you go into ketosis?
Does it? I don't know. Does it kill estrogen? I hope it does.
No, but it does make your brain fire a little quicker.
Well, I'm all for that.
But we're in trouble though, Stan. Look how smart you already are.
Now, I'm taking that DIM, which is the thing that is supposed to kill the estrogen, and replace it with testosterone. And I'm really hoping that works. I'm really, really hoping that it works.
I had a new one added to my pile of supplements about a week ago. It's something called NAD. It's all about my hair and skin. So whatever.
NAD?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to go there. That's about.
I don't know. It's a little packet and I cut the top off of it and it's like a little shot of Jell-O and I'm good to go for the day.
Okay. All right. As long as we've kind of brushed the surface on conspiracy theories, let's run the stinger and talk about a couple other things here.
Okay.
There we are. Have you heard of Ariana Masters?
No.
Okay, she's the woman who uses government servers and things like that to check out all of the radar activity going on across America.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, now she has uncovered some serious anomalies, and they're on the servers. Now, she was recently, apparently those servers are now down.
Isn't that weird how that works?
Yeah. She's been putting a lot out there, but she puts her stuff behind a paywall. She does every once in a while. She'll put out a YouTube video or something like that, or I think it's on Facebook. She does it, so which is great. But if she wants people to really know what's going on, she'll get out from behind that paywall. But if that's the way she's feeding her kids, I totally understand.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But some startling revelations there about patterns and things that are happening, especially in major metropolitan areas. Sometimes we see these clouds that line up in ribbons. They line up in the clouds that line up in kind of a grid.
We had those the other day.
That's caused by radar.
Yeah.
That is absolutely caused by radar.
Absolutely.
And it's not a naturally occurring phenomenon. There's
No.
something behind it. There is absolutely something behind it.
I agree with that.
I just don't know what it is. I don't know whether other kind of weather manipulation other than the cloud seeding and the aluminum oxide and barium and stuff that they're dropping in the clouds.
So we have the 5G, doesn't have anything to do with your phone. It has to do with frequency, and they can control the direction and hold these storms in place using those frequencies. And they come out like a Wi-Fi pattern because that's how frequency works.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we have, just like we have the HARP facility in Alaska, we
Yes.
have,
Yeah.
so there are mobile HARP facilities.
I don't know about that.
Yep. A lot of our naval ships and whatnot have that same technology that HARP has on their ships,
I
only
thought
in a
that
smaller.
HARP was a big grid on the ground.
It is. And that's what
Yeah.
they do is shoot, they heat up layer of the atmosphere to cause pressure difference to make storms move and things using the layers of the atmosphere and moving heat.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Alaskan Skywatcher is a good one to watch. He goes into
Again, that's AlaskanSkywatcher.org or
he's on Facebook and
Alaskan
on YouTube.
Skywatcher on Facebook, right? You mentioned him before.
Yeah, and he's got a YouTube channel also.
Right.
Same thing.
Very good. Well, I get most of my news from YouTube these days. Mm-hmm. Just about
Same.
all of it from YouTube.
And I
these days.
believe I've seen the girl you're talking about. I just didn't know that was her name.
Ariana Masters.
She does a good job putting those together.
Yeah, she wears a tinfoil hat.
That's right.
When she talks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do know that one. I actually follow her too. I just don't names kind of go in one and out the other.
Yeah. Well, my first impressions of her were very good and what she's doing. She's a little goofy, but she mixes humor with the facts to get the facts out there.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It
It's
really
very good
is.
stuff. Yep.
Very
Absolutely.
intelligent lady right
Yeah.
there too.
Yep. Well, I think we've covered enough with the conspiracy theories today. How about the national news? Let's talk about that a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't have a bumper for that, so we'll just have to go into
Hold
it.
on, I got a sound effect. Dun dun dun.
It's a good one. Good one. So I've been following this Texas issue where all the Democrat lawmakers fled the state, which was highly illegal of them to do that. And so they finally were threatened with arrest and daily fines until they appeared. Well, 3 of them finally appeared, and they did what they did in Texas, what it was they were trying to do, and that was setting up new districting for congressional representatives. And they did it. And now Jasmine Crockett is not living in her district anymore. And she's going to be out of a job unless she really make some stuff happen.
Yeah.
And you and I argued last week about redistricting, and especially about the fact that it's being done in a non-census year. The census, I guess, is on the decade like 2020, 2030, and all that. However, COVID completely screwed that up because there was mass migrations of people from blue states to red states. Mm-hmm. And the redistricting was absolutely necessary to fairly represent the constituents. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it's happening. That's why it's going on. And that's why it's happening now. And that's why Donald Trump has called for a census in the middle of the decade because of what happened during COVID. The aftermath of COVID was huge.
It very much was.
Huge.
That makes good sense to go ahead and do that.
Yeah. So it remains to be seen what's actually going to happen with
How do we census
Jasmine
in the
Crockett.
indigenous, though? Like the derelicts. How do we census those in? How does that work?
The indigenous? Is that what you said?
Indigenous. Oh, no. Let me rephrase that. Just cut this part out, Stan. How do we, like the homeless and the transients, how do we...
Oh, yeah.
How do those get censused?
If they're American citizens, they are censused.
Well, no, they're not because they don't necessarily reply to that. And around here, I can promise you around here, don't come to people's door and knock on it and ask how many people up in the house. I'm sure they have never had an accurate representation of this area.
Right. Well,
And a lot of Appalachia.
Guess what? They have newfangled technology for counting.
Yeah, they're not even counting us. They're just reading our digital print. Okay, guys? Like, broop, we got 100 people here.
Well, I assume that we can get a fairly accurate census, but they will not be counting the illegal immigrants, the alien invaders. They will not be counted.
Well, I hope they'd use more than just our digital.
Now, in blue states, they have been counted. In 2020, they were counted.
Yeah.
And that's just not fair.
No.
And giving the vote isn't fair.
That's like me bringing all of my friends to the party and Stan only having 3 friends at the party and me saying, who do you like better, me or Stan? Guess who wins?
Well, just the fact that 37% of people in Massachusetts voted Republican, and they have 0 representation in Congress. 0. So obviously some redistricting. They say then, and we talked about the word gerrymandering, how that has been occurring for decades, but not with Republicans. Republicans have not been doing it. Yeah. It's been 100% Democrats that have been doing it. And when you look at especially the Illinois map and see how those districts snake and curl around, and it's because, well, we got a bunch of Republicans right here. Well, we got to snake that district around so we get these Democrats in that district so that we can represent that district with Democrats. Yeah. And it's an evil thing, but it's been going on for decades.
Oh my.
So they're calling a halt to it, and hopefully it won't be happening anymore. We'll have to see. I'm of a mind, and of course everything changes, but I'm of a mind that we're in for at least 10 more years of common sense in the White House. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You know, they've been arguing so long about the Democrats being co-opted by the extreme left, and especially with a lot of these 80-20 issues, that they're not able to find their way back to the center. And this is why they have no leadership. And they have no hopefuls. Their hopefuls are AOC and Jasmine Crockett.
There's a chance for me.
Speaking of
that,
you see that Gavin Newsom has now announced that he's going to do something that will make President Trump a lame duck president after the midterm elections. And he is admitting to gerrymandering and that we are going to reform these districts to make sure that we have 100% Democrat representation in the country. This is completely illegal. Do you know who Steve Hilton is?
No, I've heard those names.
Steve Hilton, another former Fox News, but he had a once a week program on the weekends, like many do, and he's British born. He's a California resident, has been most of his life. He still has that delightful British accent, the classy kind. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he's running for governor of California.
Check him out.
So he's suing Gavin Newsom and the Democrats for what it is there that Gavin Newsom has announced. Gavin Newsom wrote the harshest of juvenile posts in all caps yesterday on X to explain what it was they were going to do. And it was just childish. It was absolutely childish. But he's so butthurt by being referred to as a do nothing governor, and in fact causing a lot of harm, especially with the water systems and so much stuff. Just so much stuff. This is the guy who got caught in the French Laundry restaurant not wearing a mask during COVID, and made we never came up with a good reason why he did that, other than he, like a lot of us, knew that was doing no good for anyone. All it was doing. I saw a great demonstration this week of a little kid wearing a mask, and this thing being a CO2 indicator detector being held up to the mask. And after 5 minutes, this kid was breathing more CO2 than oxygen.
We got to dumb down their brains somehow. We got to see how many people are going to be willingly compliant. Where is our resistance going to be? Which people are going to stand up and say, hell no?
Well, it worked during COVID, but since COVID, a lot of information has come out that has hardened a lot of people's resolve to not be those sheep anymore.
Yeah.
Again.
And there's no
they
shame.
Can't do it again.
There is absolutely no shame whatsoever in being buffaloed that first go round.
Yeah. Yeah.
There wasn't. Those of us that are conspiracy theorists and actually realize a lot of things that have happened throughout history, that is very disheartening. It's disheartening toward our own government, because once you start waking up and realizing, you want to go back to ignorance, but you can't.
As far as getting the jab is concerned, I got the jab. I didn't want the jab. I got the jab because I succumbed to the pressure, and the pressure wasn't real. It was imagined.
Yep.
The pressure was, you're going to lose your job, your spouse, your family, your friends. They're all going to hate you.
You're going to die. You're going to kill everybody before you die.
I never bought into that. It was the pressure of, and the pressure, I was getting pressure from my job.
Yeah.
They weren't sugarcoating it. They didn't say you get fired. They didn't say that. It was just, you really need to do this. Yeah. And I'm looking at you. You really need to do this. That was happening at my place of employment. Yeah. So there was that, a little bit of family pressure there, friends, and being a public figure down in St. Petersburg. I succumbed to that, and I should not have done that. Yeah. I should not have done that. But as you say, there's no shame in it now.
There's not.
But we've learned, we've lived, and we've learned, and we will not let those people dupe us again through whatever means, whether it's Jesus coming down in the sky or flying saucers landing in Washington, D.C.
Or in Boston City.
Whatever it is, we're not going to be fooled again. Like the Who said so long ago, we won't get fooled again. And that's the name of that tune. Well, in regard to more national stuff going on, the Texas redistricting happened. How about Trump's crackdown in D.C., calling in the National Guard? It's a pilot program,
I know, and we walk dangerous ground with that, because you have an American president calling in American troops on American soil against American citizens. What are we really doing there?
They're not, now listen, they're not against American citizens. You can't look at it that way. They've been brought in to simply be a presence. That's it.
That's
just
how it
to be a presence.
That's how it starts.
Now, the police chief welcomes it and says, yes, we've needed this for so long. The police chief is going against the mayor of D.C., who is obviously crime is way down. That's a lie, by the way. The crime is not way down.
Crime is not way down.
But they say, we're at a 30-year low in D.C. Well,
no, we're not.
It's all in how you count the crimes and how you categorize them, how you do that. Right after Trump announces, the day that he implemented this thing and the troops started arriving, they had their 100th murder this year in D.C. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yet it may not match what's going on in St. Louis and Memphis, which is worse, but Donald Trump is in Washington. We're going to do a pilot program in Washington, 30 days. And he said after the first day, he said, this might go on longer than 30 days.
Of course it will.
But that was a law thing that you can only impose the the National Guard in an area for an emergency for 30 days. But it's not that they have to leave after 30 days. It's after 30 days it has to be reevaluated. So we'll see. But if it works, and I expect it will work to curtail violent crime in D.C., if it works, it's going to be spread out to other cities.
What about all the kids that have went missing? Have you seen any chatter about that? Like Virginia, over 50 kids missing just since August.
I've heard a lot of things about missing children over the decades.
No, this is in the last half of a month. You got 50 kids that have poofed, at least. That was at the last video that I watched. This is a man out of Bristol that was talking about it.
That's very, very dangerous.
Where are all these kids
Very
going?
dangerous.
That's not the only area either. It's like a kind of a thing that's going on. Watch your babies. Just keep your babies close.
I have not heard about this.
Disappearing children.
Okay, I need to do some research on that because it's not being reported.
Not at all. No, it's not. That was where's
the area?
All around the Bristol,
Virginia?
part of Virginia, yeah.
Virginia area.
But it's
All right.
not just Virginia. There are more, and that goes into Bristol, Tennessee. I bring it up. My kids live over there. I got a grandbaby over there.
Did you see the vortex in the sky in Virginia a couple of days ago?
Just the picture you sent me, but that's incredible.
That
We
was
haven't been
at
able to see
night.
the sky because of the spraying they're doing.
That we can't see. Yeah, we've been under complete cloud cover for days.
Yeah.
Days. The sun peaked out a little bit yesterday afternoon, but that's it. And then the rain came again.
They immediately started spraying. I'm serious. It
Yesterday?
blew. Yeah, that was the little clip I shared to my story on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
That was literally yesterday, 3 hours apart.
Yeah. Well, we've had some really cloudy skies recently.
Yeah.
We've been under a lot of cloud cover, and that is the total goal of the spraying is cloud cover.
And it does affect your mental state. Listen, we coming out of the full moon, and now we've got no sunlight for days. People are assholes right now. I know I am so irritable, angry.
I don't leave the
just wanna
house, so
see the
I don't
sun.
leave the house, so I don't know.
I just want the sunlight for 15, 20 minutes, please. And not
Yeah.
this weird cook me to death stuff that's going on. But
Yeah.
just a nice sunshiny day.
Yep. Going back to Jasmine Crockett for a minute. She has been completely exposed for the phony she is. I don't know if you saw it, but Benny Johnson, who is, he's a conservative talk show guy every day, every single day does a live show. He decided he's become very, very popular. He's got over, I think, 12 million followers that's insane, on YouTube alone, which is where he hosts his show. As do we. The Stan Show is on YouTube on a weekly basis. And I would encourage you all to please like and subscribe. That would be wonderful if you do that. Like this video on the Stan Show channel on YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Our subscriptions have been going up recently.
Nice.
Not only that, but our last podcast last week got over 100 views, which is a milestone for us when it's not a special occasion or a
That's
special
right.
guest.
That's right.
So
we're gaining popularity, Stan. We can't stop now. One transplant, one local at a time.
Benny Johnson did an expose on her, which involved him going to South Dallas, where she claims to be from. And it is a hellhole. It is an absolute hellhole. The garbage on the streets, on the paths, on the walkways, on everything. It's just an absolutely miserable hellhole. And I don't know why they're not cleaning it up. So this is where she claims to be from, and that she's ghetto, and she's from the streets, and that she's got street cred. 100% false. She came from St. Louis, from an affluent suburb of St. Louis, where her high school, which was the number one preparatory high school in the United States,
Girl.
cost $35,000 a year.
You can't tell the kind of lies that they bust you out on. You
She
gotta
was-
just tell the truth.
She was sent to private college.
Just tell the truth.
All I'm saying is this was her background. She does not come from there. How she ended up there, I don't know. She went to a prestigious law school to get her law degree. Her entire education from high school up through law school totaled over $1 million in tuition. And this is where she comes from. And then she'll go on TV and she'll sit in a chair. She talk about Trump. He's a piece of shit. And we all know it. But you go back to some really old interviews of her, and she's prim proper, and she talks like this. She doesn't have any of that, none of that. None of the eyelashes for days. None of that. I'm going to tell you how it is right now. None of that. She's got none of that. It's an act. It's 100% an act. She is a 100% phony.
Hey, it'd almost be like me running for office as Corbin.
I saw your most recent I saw Corbin's most recent episode. That was hilarious. That was really good.
Corbin thinks Courtney's crazy.
And the last little bit of national news, this is breaking news today, and that is that Melania Trump is suing Hunter Biden for $1 billion.
Well, hopefully she'll get a tenth of that. She is such a beautiful woman.
She is. She's wonderful. And she's suing him for defamation, for slander. And that's not a good place to go right now, because as we've seen, people like Donald Trump and others who have been suing for the same reasons are winning. So that's not going to go well for Hunter Biden. Melania Trump is loved. She's widely loved. She's loved by more than just the people who voted for Donald Trump. She is a beautiful woman. She's smart. She's a mom. She cares. And she is well loved. Let's face it. She's got a lot of cred out there. Yep.
She
and
does.
Hunter Biden, not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever saw any of the laptop pictures or videos. Did you ever see any of them?
No, I didn't want any. Something about him just feels dirty, and like I don't even watch anything. I don't want nothing to do with any of that unclean energy from him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I didn't stay clean. I saw some of that stuff.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The word debauchery is not a strong enough word for the stuff that was on that laptop.
No, that's just no.
Yep.
Good. Maybe he'll go down.
Maybe.
Oh, I see what we did there.
So just as a segue of getting out of this today, let's go down the Facebook Reels rabbit hole. Let's see, pull that up here. There we go. Let's see what we got today. This is Facebook Reels. Some people call it doom scrolling before they go to bed, and then they can't get to sleep because they've seen so much weird crap. Yeah. But just for fun, we're going to do this and see what happens. It's kind of an experimental thing. It's a potpourri. It can be very dangerous.
Yeah, some stuff you're like, oh, I don't know what I in my reels.
Well, this looks like a female comedian. Let's see what she's got here.
Oh God, another thing that was crazy about Generation X. I don't even know if you can talk about this anymore, but we did this thing. It's so weird. Okay. It was called critical thinking. It's so crazy. So basically what you would do, this is like in the old days, you would listen to both sides of a story or a topic or an issue, and then you would make your own, this is crazy, you'd make your own opinion that would then guide you through life.
Yeah, we used to have
that was awesome.
Honestly, I think
a good one.
No.
So I always keep this fake Hollywood money in my car. So when a homeless person asks for money, then I give them like a fake $5 bill. So I feel good about myself. They feel good.
Oh, gosh.
And then when they go to use it, they get arrested. So I'm actually like helping clean up the community, getting them off the street.
I don't know how I feel about that. Next.
Don't know either.
Mortal enemies become bosom buddies. Look at
Isn't
that.
that sweet?
That is so sweet. Okay, moving on.
Yo, engineer.
Oh, wait.
Yo, engineer, can you make the guitar feel like it's
No.
The Nebraska line.
Just a word of explanation. I'm a recording guy. I've got a recording studio here, full service recording studio that has public access, by the way. If you have anything you want to, got any music you want to record, you want to sing to a track, you want to do any of that stuff, you can do it right here, and there's never a charge. How about that? Now, if you're a rich person who wants to do it, I'll take donations. But that's why I get so much of that stuff in my reels. Buy this plugin, buy this thing, buy this musical instrument. I get a lot of that, but I can skip right over them. All right, here we go. What's this one? Oh, Alaska
Wisconsin
Skywalker.
floods and the global pulse of engineered weather. Last night, Nebraska skies erupted in one of the most intense lightning storms in memory. Bolts firing in rapid succession, clouds glowing from within as if supercharged by an invisible hand. The sheer density and frequency of the strikes defied the limits of natural atmospheric discharge. The night before, Wisconsin was hit with a flood event of historic proportions. Milwaukee alone received over 14.5 inches of rain, submerging streets to the rooftops of vehicles and shattering the Milwaukee River's all-time record. Entire neighborhoods were inundated within hours. On the surface, these appear to be two separate and unrelated events, but the radar tells another story. X-ray reflectivity maps captured pulsing, symmetrical bursts embedded in both systems, the unmistakable fingerprints of electromagnetic interference. The clouds themselves were visibly pulsing, charged by sustained energy injections. These were not random fluctuations or quirks of the radar. They were precision bursts of power into the atmosphere. This is the result of a global operation. Facilities from Harp in Alaska to the South Pole Station, along with countless classified transmitters and satellites, working in concert to hijack the atmosphere. Every nation with the capability is contributing to the same sustained charge field, yet the public is told it's just nature behaving badly. Meteorologists will call them once-in-a-thousand-year storms, stalled fronts, or unseasonable moisture. But they're not trained in atmospheric warfare. They read from prepared scripts, interpreting within the boundaries of an approved narrative. They're not taught how to identify scalar pulses, beam convergence, or the electromagnetic signatures that reveal an engineered storm system. I've covered this stuff for years, and I can see it, and the evidence is right in front of us.
Yeah, and just to add to that a little bit, the deep state, the secret government that controls everything, has been plotting against us with weather manipulation since the 1960s. And Lyndon Johnson said the quiet part out loud. He said, "He who controls the weather controls the world."
That's right.
And he was part of the deep state. He was a big deep stater. He was.
Yeah.
So there's that. So people who want to deny that they're manipulating the weather, you really, really need to look into it and do your own research. Alaska Skywatcher is a great place to start. There's also, as I mentioned before, geoengineeringwatch.org. Both of these people on YouTube. You can get all of your news from YouTube.
And listen, to you, I don't even know what the names are, but I'm Gen X too. And that lady was talking about critical thinking. That used to be actually part of our homework. And she was right about that. You should learn critical thinking. It's great stuff.
Critical thinking, that was an awesome routine. And she really laid it out and explained it, and the audience was eating it up. I love that. All right, well, let's call it a day. What do you think?
I think we're out of here.
We're going to head on out, and we hope that you've enjoyed this edition of The Stan Show. We do this pretty much once a week. I'm also open to special guests. I'd love to get more special guests here in the studio. We could do it remotely, but I prefer to do it face to face. So I hope that you will think about that. If you know somebody who's, they've got something they need to promote, so it's something they want to talk about, whether it's their music or their restaurant or their hobby or whatever, I'd love to get you in here to talk about it. So keep that in mind. And again, we are a full-blown recording studio here, and it's public access at this point. There's never a charge. There's not a charge to appear on my podcast. It's all you. All right. It's about you. With that, I'll ask you to say, I will ask you to say good night, Courtney.
Good night, Courtney.
That's what I'm going for. All right. I appreciate you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video on YouTube and subscribe to the channel, and tell all your little friends about it too. We'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.